So yeah, so we're going to do that after. How many people are going? Beth, Fletcher, and Nancy. Beth, I've been here already. And so I've got to see what kind of ingredients we get. You were ready for and that was downtown. Or was that the downtown? Have you ever said?
And I'm finally getting.
I heard someone today, all I heard was someone was chainsaw fire. It's going on. I'm trying to think like what's. Like, it sounds like it's not.
I don't think I can go.
Is that what it is, John 68? Is that right on 68 in Argonaut?
Okay, we will bring the meeting to order. It is 7:07 on September 9th, the regular meeting of the Tuscarora Township Board of Trustees called to order. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, please.
Okay, John.
Here.
Lori. Here. Rudy.
Here.
Laura here, and Sue is absent, but we still have a forum.
Thank you. Board member conflict of interest? No? Okay. Public comment on agenda items? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Patrick McGinnis, and in the last sewer committee meeting that just happened, there seems to be a lot of confusion on what phases are which. And maybe we should invite some of the former board members to attend the meeting because they have the knowledge of what terminology they were using. It would answer a lot of people's questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, public comment period is closed. Approval of meeting agenda. Any changes? No, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll support that.
Okay, and all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of previous minutes of the August 20th, 2025 special meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the previous, the minutes of August 20th, 2025.
Do we have a second on that, please? And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Report, sewer update, Steve Corporon, the Cliff Note version.
Good evening.
First of all, you might be, because you're under the speaker, you might be loud enough.
Can you hear me all right?
Can y'all hear him? Yeah.
All right. Patrick, you hear me? Okay, all right.
Thank you.
It's gonna be tough to keep this one under 3, I think, after we spent 58 minutes.
Yeah.
On that one. The most important thing, we had issue today. We were scheduled to do a dry startup today, a wet startup at the plant with the Aeromod representative. The dry startup went fine, but when he was talking with the operators about the wet startup, the control panel for the existing plant is the main master one. The control panel for the new side of the plant is a slave, for lack of a better term. He said, oh, by the way, I don't program those to talk to each other. Somebody else comes and does that. And Aeromod had not scheduled that for us. So we're working, scramble this afternoon. We're trying to find out when we can get the programming people so that they can run both sides of the plant. We wanted to run the new side of the plant for the next several weeks, get seeded and tested and that. But without the two units talking to each other, they can't do that unless they do it manually. That would be very labor intensive, trying to make all the adjustments all day long, trying to keep the plant operating properly. So we're trying to figure out when Aeromod gets in there. We're hoping it's within the next, before the end of the month, but we didn't have any guarantees for it. So we might have to reschedule the substantial completion inspection that was scheduled for the 24th for that contract and the mats and all those contracts as well. So that's something that just kind of popped up today. To kind of threw a grenade in our schedule a little bit. We think it's going to work fine, but we just need to make sure they can operate it properly. Matt's and Elmers were in town yesterday doing some punch list item work. The paving got done over here by the post office down on Lake Street. They got the Devo Beach and the Pinehurst lift stations groomed out. They're pretty much ready to go. Arthur Street, we're waiting on some replacement hatches to be delivered and then cast in the new concrete tops for those. The hatches will be in a couple of weeks. So hopefully by mid-October, we can redo the tops on Arthur Street, and that will be ready to go as well. Max has been doing restoration work over by the green docks mostly, in the CBC. They have some more work to do on some of the structures in CBC and put some supports in for piping in a lot of those structures. That should be going on next week or two. But they're close to having their substantial completion ready as well. If you have noticed, phase 2 kicked off last week, and they've spent the last week digging in that first big lift station down at Barbara, Doris, and Dorothy. They finally got it in today. It took them a week, which is how long it took Mass to get the one at Pier in a similar, very wet environment. That structure is in. Their schedule right now is to work up Doris over the next several days. And then we changed the order of when we're going to do Dorothy and Barbara. We plan on doing going up Barbara first. It became obvious last week after they pulverized, and we're working down the area, but Barbara is still extremely busy. A lot of boat trailer traffic. People even said it's even more busier than usual. I think it might be because people are trying to marine and then trying to get the stuff out as quickly as possible. And not drag out stuff as well. But anyway, they're gonna do Dorothy then over those next 2 weeks. Then over to Barbara, which should take a couple of weeks. The plan right now is that hopefully all of that can be done by the end of September. And Ruth Riley has a paving windows they're holding for them for the first week or second week of October. Get those three streets paved. They would then pulverize and do the work on Birchfield. That should take them 2, maybe 3 weeks, quite a ways up there. And then get Birchfield paved the last week of October. And they would be done with their pipe work for this season. They wouldn't be doing Holden, South, and Mac until after frost loss for the spring. We also been telling people that we didn't think they'd start the LPS system, which is basically Western Barbara and then out on Sturgeon Island until next spring. However, they have a subcontractor that's available now who just canceled federal contracts. They're looking at possibly drilling their force mains that'll be under WIT, and then also West Barbara and out on Sturgeon Island in October. It's not a done deal yet, but they're looking at doing that. They wouldn't be, digging up a whole bunch of services on there. Basically, digging a hole every 400 or 500 feet, shooting 3-inch main under, popping it out, and shooting another 400 or 500 feet. Similar to what you saw on South Prospect late last year, early this year, before we got frozen out. So that was another little schedule change. I have a revised notice typed up. We tweaked it this afternoon. I'll get that to Trudy and Chris tomorrow. So we get that posted on the website to update the one we put out a couple of weeks ago. So we've been meeting with a lot of people down that area, trying to keep them apprised of what's going on. I think I have phone numbers for just about everybody down there now, so we can hopefully work with people as we get closer to their house to let them know what's going on and when they might need to stage a vehicle away from the house for the day. I think that was most of the highlights. Anything else you would like to?
No,
I know it's not all good news, but there is some good news in there that we'll get close on the road.
yeah,
We do have a water truck that should be showing up, the contractor that said tonight, so that, I know last week was pretty nasty for people, and I apologize on behalf of the contractor for that. They should have had a water truck up here, we should have been watering, it was so dry. They were grooming the road almost every day, which I told them yesterday to stop doing that. Once it's packed down, let's leave it. Even if it's a little ruddy, I'd rather have it less dusty, and a little ruddy. That'll also help keep the speeds down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's gotten better, and if we need it this week, but it's not supposed to rain the rest of the week. Having a water truck up here subject tonight.
I don't have any questions.
You have 3 pay requests tonight, I think, maybe 4.
I don't even remember.
Anyway, they're pretty standard.
Yeah.
And there's one small change over there.
I did have a question, Stephen. I apologize for not bringing this up earlier. It's on the actual sales order recap. There's a question for Walton Contracting, written by somebody, and I can talk to you later, but it says, did we direct shift 1 or change the quantity on 2 8-inch cross cut? And then in the order itself, it says 1, but I can.
And I don't think I included that in what we paid.
Okay,
It was a big invoice, and I think I circled the stuff I was gonna allow to be paid.
oh, got you,
Paid for
okay.
stored materials. I don't think that was one I want to make sure that stuff on the ground was only the stuff I was gonna give them credit for stored materials.
Okay. I did not count the invoices, to be frank with you.
Okay. And how that works in the pay request, then if we paid for pipe, say, when we actually put the pipe on the ground, they get paid for that, but then that number shrinks. And the credit for that pipe shrinks on the front page where the retained is.
Okay,
We don't pay for it twice.
Good.
In other words.
good deal, yeah. Right. Okay. Any other And you had clarified with me, just so that the board is aware, if we should have to, when, I had asked Steve to explain to me what is substantial completion? What does that mean? And he explained that the USDA comes in and makes sure everything that we planned operates the way it should. And even though it's not complete, the circle's not completed, they can see that it's built to spec and it's going to work. Am I understanding that
Right.
correctly?
And as far as the plant, we asked them, we know we're gonna do some change orders to, put the items back in, hopefully get the $1 million.
Right.
Put the storage part of it in, the screen in, other stuff like that, you know. He said, yeah, we can grant substantial completion without those. Now, we'll hold off final completion until we're completed. Same thing with Matt's contract. They're gonna be substantially complete, but they haven't put any grinder pumps in. But they're gonna be at the mercy of a lot of homeowners on when they're actually doing that stuff. So that'll be part of final completion, but not substantial completion. The
Okay.
system will be operational. But individual hookups for people won't be part of substantial completion.
Okay, all right,
But we're still holding back. You know, we are paying for something we haven't done.
okay. Any questions?
All right,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
And bills?
Okay, we have 39 invoices in a total of $59,957.92.
The only question I had on that was, I gotta watch my time, but I'm just curious, is the number of openings and closings we've had at the cemetery. I hate to think we're getting busier out there. Maybe.
It turns in the invoice and it has listed, what we've done, and sometimes it might not be an open and close, it might be just a millstone.
Oh, right, yeah, that's true, yeah. Like I said, I really don't like to think that we might be getting busier out there, but I don't know, curious. Would you, Chief, is this the final payment on that Control Solutions?
Yes, thank you.
Good work on that.
Until I get up and talk to you about the boiler.
Yeah, well, and I just want to take a moment and enjoy the temperature in the room compared to some other meetings. Okay. Okay. I don't see anything. Any? Yep. No questions? Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the bills? Please.
Yes, I'll make a motion to accept the bills.
And a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Monday, the 15th is your last day to pay your summer taxes before they add a 1% penalty on it each month. And I'll be here all day, 9 to 5 on the 15th. Also, if you wanted your receipt emailed, I'm working on that. Some of the emails, I tried this one gentleman today, I tried 6 different ways because I didn't think his email was, first I did the way you wrote it, and then I tried a different way, after 6 times, I'm like, forget it, I'm just gonna mail him one, so be patient with that process, and we gotta figure out some way to tweak that. It's going to.
Anything else, ma'am?
That's it for me tonight, we got enough to talk about.
Yeah, okay. Correspondence. None. Airport. Ken,
Yes.
you can take the podium or you can just stand back there and speak loudly, whichever you prefer. Ken Osmond, our Assistant Airport Manager.
The terminal's done.
The terminal's
We
done.
got hanged up, we got the pictures and stuff, we still have to hang on the wall and get the little more paint on the windows, but it's all done.
And it looks wonderful. Yes, good job riding herd on that project. Thank you.
Otherwise, everything's going good.
You've had some activity.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's, whether you guys know it or not, you've got to be one hell of an asset. You really do. I've worked in airports for a lot of years, been in aviation education since 1982. I ran a charity for 25 years. I can tell you, in a disaster, that airport has become the number one thing you need. It really is. And I know a lot of people don't use it out there. We don't have the traffic, but there are ways we can get more traffic if we market it right. We have the ability of being in the middle of the end of the highway. And the ability to let people camp out there between the two of those. You can't do that in any other airport out here. You can't do it at Dawson. You ain't gonna do it at Harbor Springs, any of the other ones. No, none. It's really unique. We actually had a young kid fly in, only had $100, and he was absolutely thrilled to think that he can fly back, get his tent next year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, not much else.
Okay.
Most of the mowing's done and all that stuff's upkeep.
Yep.
Nothing exciting. I know there's a hangar for sale at the pretty sure.
Oh, okay,
If anybody's interested.
okay, all right.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, just a reminder that if you're interested in the airport, the community cleanup day is this Saturday from 8 to 1 out there. Bring your junk. There's a flyer out on the window. And you can, if you, with ID, as long as you're a township resident, you can drop your stuff and take a little peek. The assessor, no report. DDA and Sue's not here. I know they're still moving forward, investigating the, safe routes to school expansion. That's still in the works. We've had one FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act. Kelsey, thank goodness you're back. I thought I was gonna have to stand in. Do you want your flyer?
I got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go up here.
Okay. Do you want me to move that back so it doesn't screech?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
I have a quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I move it like here.
You should be good there, I think, right, Pat?
Hello.
Oh, good.
Okay, we're good. All right. Well, hello, everybody. So I just have a few events to share or to highlight. We have coming next Monday, the Secretary of State mobile office is back, and you can do pretty much everything that you could do at a regular Secretary of State office, but they take walk-ins, so you don't have to schedule an appointment the way you would with a normal office. So I definitely recommend everyone who needs to get any business done comes to that. You can do title stuff, you can do things with your license, and that is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and you can just show up. And we also have a fall plant swap. That's Saturday, September 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can bring in any plants or swap any plants. You can show up and just take plants because people always bring a lot and we always have some left over. So you don't have to bring something to come to the plant swap. And no registration is required to attend. You can just show up to that too. And then we also, I'm just going to plug the Friends of the Library for a second. They have their 6th annual Mahjong tournament. So that is Tuesday, October 7th from 1 to 4 p.m. They will have refreshments, desserts, cash prizes, and Mahjong, of course, all with a $25 entry fee. So you can sign up at the library or you can contact Karen Hill to register, and you can find her email on any of the flyers, or I think I also have her phone number on there, but I'm not sure. So that's pretty much it for me. Oh, and I won't be here next month, so I will share just one more event with you. On Wednesday, November 12th, from 6 to 7 p.m., we have a very special presentation about the Edmund Fitzgerald. So that is something that will not be one that you want to miss. And so you can eventually sign up on our website for that. The sign up will be up by the end of September. And walk-ins are also welcome, day of the event, space permitting. So that's pretty much it for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Parks.
At our meeting on September 2nd, we voted to switch trash companies. We are going from GFL to PAC Sanitation. PAC, unfortunately, though, does have a 3-year wait for a dumpster. So I looked into, we are going to purchase a dumpster for $1,375, but we will be saving approximately $1,500 a year by switching to PAC, so it will pay for itself in the first year. Our November meeting is going to be in the library due to the election on the same date. We didn't want to change the date of our meeting, so we're going to have our meeting in the library. We are still working on a solution to the damaged/unreadable bricks at Veterans Pier. We did approve a refund to someone who had purchased a brick in 2021 but never received anything. It was reported there were several people slipping on the stairs at the Green Dots. So over the winter, Doug is going to procure lumber and anti-slip paint and get it taken care of, and then he will install it in the spring. He'll do it over the winter. Apparently it's slippery. And we're looking into what we need to upgrade the bathrooms at Devo Beach to make sure they meet code requirements when they come back to hook up to the sewer.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, please.
Oh, let's see here. There you go. So last week we had a pickup truck that was stolen off Bunker Road. The vehicle was recovered and catered. Currently have no suspects, but my officers are working on that. We're getting evidence and stuff out of the vehicle. So if you wonder why our patrol cars have been parked outside, it was because the garage bays have evidence inside. So, good news, Officer Meyerson has been cleared for duty. She came back on Monday. Thank goodness. So now I'm only one short. For the bad news is all weekend long I kept getting high temperature alerts in my emails. Apparently boiler number 1, the heat exchanger burned a hole right through it. Control Solutions is talk to the company. We are beyond our warranty. However, we're in what I guess the limited warranty. So they are requesting next week Control Solutions, comes back. They want to do a video meeting, and they want them to take a water test out of the boiler and test the water that's actually within the boiler. Then they will determine whether they're going to warranty it or not. If they're going to warranty it, they will replace the heat exchanger. If they decide not to warranty it, then we're either on the hook for a new heat exchanger or an entire new boiler, whatever we decide. I'm hoping next week we will have the quotes on that. I'm hoping that, fingers crossed, they just warranty it. Because the boilers really aren't that old. I think those went in 2018.
I think so, yeah. What are they testing the water for?
So I talked to Control Solutions. They think because of the way our system has been operating all goofy the last couple of years here, that may have had something to do with it.
Let's hope not.
And whatever they can tell by the molecules or whatever inside the water in the heat exchanger. So, which I don't even think there is any water in the heat exchanger because it's been running out and right down the drain. So I don't know how they're going to test that. But they're
I
going
don't know. How much water do they need? You know?
Well, it is shut off currently.
Oh.
Our whole system right now is being ran off boiler number 2, so we still are going to have heat. It's just in the colder months, they said the one boiler is not going to be enough in this building.
Right.
So
Kelsey?
whatever,
Enjoy the heat now.
yeah, whatever happens has to happen before the cold months.
All right, so I'll ask the hard question. Do we have any idea, heat exchanger, worst case scenario, we're on the hook. Heat exchanger versus boiler, what are we talking about in dollars?
Probably around 15,000,
Ouch.
and that's just a guess. That
Right,
probably
right.
does not include the labor to install.
And
So if they do warranty it, though, we are still on the hook for the labor.
right. Okay,
Yeah, I know I didn't budget for that, but
no,
we're gonna have to make up.
yeah, right.
We can't go without heat this.
No, we
winter.
cannot. No. And if it is warranty, we're still on the hook for labor.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And hopefully next week I'll have more information for you.
Okay, all right. Any leads on another officer? Nothing?
Nothing. I've had one applicant, this would be this individual's second time he's applied here. And so far, that's it.
Oh, here. Okay, so if anybody's growing a police officer, law
Yes,
enforcement officer.
please, get him in touch with me.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, old business, fireworks. So I want to just update, so trying to get ahead of the game this year a little bit. 4th of July for 2026 is on Saturday. There was some discussion as to when we wanted to do fireworks, 3rd, the 4th, 5th. Reaching out to our current fireworks company, they have not put together any estimates for the future. Well, maybe we should make the motion to talk about this before we talk about it. Okay, let's do that. Will somebody make a motion to talk about fireworks so we can talk about it? Okay. Do we have a second? All right. Okay, so now we can talk about it. Okay. So, as of Monday, September 8th, what Morgan has said, and this is the same company we've used for a number of years, they've done a fine job. To get in on July 4th is super expensive. We've budgeted last year and then this year we budgeted $15,000. She's already said, you better up that for this next year. It's not gonna be enough money. She suggested upping it by an additional $5 to bring it to 20. She said she'd let me know what her minimums were. The best she can provide on the 3rd or the 5th is a maybe. She said the 4th, you can double your budget and then add some more. So I think the 4th is out for us. So do we want to think about a date now? Do we want to wait? She's on vacation, sadly, until September 18th, which is not that far away. And she said they'll begin working on their 26 schedules then. We can wait until October. We can shoot her a date if we want to set one now.
I guess what's the obligation to put it out for bid?
So we can do that. We can do that.
I don't know. I mean, if I was confused off the top of my head, but
No, I don't either.
And then we request her, let's pick a date, so when we send out all the people, we already know a date.
Right, okay, so
That
what,
way she'll,
right. Okay, good idea. So we want to pick a date first, put that in the RFP with date. Okay, what date? What do you think? Friday is the 3rd, Saturday is the 4th. She's advising double plus more, half again as much, so you'd be talking $40,000. Plus you'd have to have, is Gordon still here?
I'm here.
Law enforcement coverage, double time plus, so it's a holiday?
Yes, so I highly recommend, because even most of my officers, when they come in for the 4th, whether it be on the 3rd or the 5th, are still at time and a half rate. So you do it on the 4th and you're looking at double time and.
Right. Okay, so that widens, Thursday, the 2nd? I don't know, you guys, what do you, throw it around.
I suggest Friday the 3rd.
Yeah.
That would be my,
what's everybody on the crowd think?
People come in on that weekend.
We're not gonna have Monday off though, usually it's a 4-day weekend.
But not everybody's going to. No,
Yeah.
not everybody. I think Friday, and they'll be driving back.
Friday.
Okay, so I'll let her know, kind of tentatively, it doesn't obligate us to anything like that, but, okay, who wants to handle writing it up? Do we want a 20-minute show, do you want to do something unique with we've got a suggestion, people have talked about a drone, fireworks, having kids do dramatic speakings. Cam Cabot seems to be very excited about that, wants to be a part of that. It's our 250th birthday. So something to think about, getting that RFP together. So we'll need some specifics. Other thoughts?
Traditional. Is where I'm at. I mean, all those other things probably gonna cost more.
Right, I'm sure that no.
Well, I mean, I've looked into drones a little bit, and they're about the same price. They don't dump into the water. We do have a population here that cannot enjoy the fireworks because they can't get there. We could think about changing the location. If you did drones, you could do it at Cooperation Park. You could have them put it out on the soccer field, and if you wanted a traditional blanket picnic, you could have that. If you wanted to sit in your car and enjoy it because you have limited mobility, you could do that. I don't know, I'm open to suggestions. We've had some input from some community members. What do you think? Do you want to look at both? Do you want to just stick with the traditional? Do you want a combo plan?
This and that way, sure what the drone seven
I had a link, we could have put the big screen up. I'll shoot you the link. Maybe we can put it out there on the socials. It's set to music. It's, Pat, can you help me with this?
Could you say that again?
Will you help me with this, explaining the drone show? I had meant to get the big screen out and I didn't.
Basically, I think the main thing tonight is just set the date.
Right, yeah.
So you can contact the different vendors. One of the advantages of going with a drone show is you have a visibility of up to 5 miles, depending on the weather. You can also incorporate the fireworks into the show. You can incorporate, as one of the residents suggested, being at Cooperation Park and having a softball/baseball game prior to it. You could have students doing dramatic readings. This can all be live streamed. Even the students doing readings or people doing readings could all be live streamed. That means people could sit at home and watch the show and listen to the music and the booms and everything else. Moving it, I think moving it to Cooperation Park would get rid of the complaints of the heavy metals falling into the lake. We do have a lot of people, though, who like to go out on the lake in the boats and watch the show. So we do have to keep that in mind. The drone show could be one location, the fireworks could be at the other location. There's a lot of variables. Tuscarora Talks has a survey request up on it right now, asking people's inputs. We've been getting some, but this is September. They're not thinking 4th of July.
Right.
So I just think getting the date set.
Okay.
So
Okay, and I didn't know we had that survey out. I think that's a great idea. So I'll go out and put my 1 cent worth in.
How do you get onto this?
How do we find that? Is that?
it's on Tuscarora Talks back.
So on social media,
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I didn't see that. Maybe if we just wanted to search it.
we can search it maybe. Yeah, okay,
We could have the administrator repost it tomorrow.
there you go. Yeah, that was good. Keep it on the top of that.
Hello.
There you go, Jane.
Hello there.
Okay, so, well, that's a lot of good information. So what do you think? What do you want to do? Set the dates? and then do further investigation?
Yes.
Okay. So do we have a motion for date, please?
I'll make a motion to reach out, for bid for fireworks services on July 3rd.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll support that.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Very good. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, the next item, transient merchant, we're gonna have to table that. Sue is gonna talk about that, and she is absent. And next item then is the corrective quitclaim deed for the township and the library. Motion to discuss the quitclaim deed. Where's the rest of it? Do we have a motion to discuss motion to discuss the quitclaim deed between Tuscarora Township and the Indian River Area Library. This is simply to correct the document recorded in Lieber 610, page 766, so as to include reference to block number and to add and include the above meets and bounds described premises. Do we have a motion?
Sure. Let's motion to discuss this quitclaim, corrected quitclaim deed.
Okay, and a second, please.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay, so the deed is attached, and you know this has been an ongoing saga. This is simply a correction. It should clarify the bits of property that the library, that this building sits on the grassy spot to the south, the building, the parking lot, and then there's a little wild area there next to Mrs. McClutchy's garage. This simply adds block 21, and as described by Greg Rotter, who helped along with Rob Booth, and we appreciate their efforts. On the second page at the top of the first paragraph, it simply states the purpose of this deed, which is stated in the summary. They referenced particularly a parcel number which was left off before. So the third page is only for the library. It's included in its entirety, the deed, and the map is on the back, which is a horrible copy. Questions, discussion? Interesting doing some of the research on this. This goes back to 1900. If y'all like old stuff like I do, first of all, their penmanship was to die for. And secondly, it was very interesting to read or try to read some of the documentation. So any questions? No? Okay, so all in favor to accept and sign this quitclaim deed to correct the deed for the Indian River Area Library and Tuscarora Township? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll get that taken care of tomorrow. Very good. Okay. CIP updates. Through this end, I don't remember, was it last month or the month before we talked about this? We had a clarification from legal. I think this is more informational than anything. We talked about what the purpose of the CIP was. It's a wish list. And as you can see, this was developed in 24. We need to look at it and maybe bring it back in the winter time when it's maybe not so crazy. And to encourage departments, parks, police, well, you already budget yours, you do a very good job of that. You could give us a training perhaps about things that are coming up, things you don't know, and all of a sudden something else takes back seat, like boiler. So anyways, it's more informational. I don't think we have to make a motion on this. Airport's on here, okay, well. Okay. New business, sewer construction bills. We have phase 1 gravity project for Elmer's. The pay request is for $26,745.10. This is USDA. And this is a successful startup for 3 lift stations and disconnecting the post office and 2 adjacent homes from the existing system and putting them on the new collection system. They also put in protective bollards down there. This also includes Grand Traverse construction, wastewater treatment plant expansion, in the amount of $193,594.57. This is USDA and Eagle, as well as EPA, and the breakdown is there in the memo. We'll get that taken care of tomorrow. Again, we're coming up on the federal fiscal year end at September, so we will want to make sure we get these out and turned around to pay our contractors. And then we have for Matt's sewer extension phase 1 low pressure system in the amount of $15,395.70. This includes bringing the lift stations at South Prospect and Pier Avenue online and some restoration work along South Prospect. And that's USDA. We have a request for Walton Contracting, the new kid on the block for sewer extension phase 2 gravity project. The amount for Walton's is $334,837.77. They began work August 28th. They've had a bit of a time of it. They're doing well. We have some material stored on site. If you were here for the sewer meeting or for the brief version with Steve, we won't repeat it here. This is EPA and USDA funding. Whoops, sorry about that. There is a change order in here. This is for Grand Traverse Construction. It's for the wastewater treatment plant expansion project. They had to add what's called a NEMA enclosure for the mixer control panel. You heard Steve talking about the control panels for the different trains, which are the different plants. Because this is on the outside of the building, it had to have a special enclosure. So the amount of the change is $12,832.33. It is currently on the exterior of the building. There is a plan to have a blower room addition put on, which will then render it inside the building. But at this point in time, since we don't know when that's going to be built, we have to have it enclosed, keep it safe from the elements. The change order, their performance is recommending funding source being phase 2 contingency, which currently that amount is $489,702.71 available. Again, using $12,832.33 for that. And that is it on the sewer bills. Do we have a motion to accept the sewer bills and pay them?
I make a motion that we accept the sewer bills and pay them.
Okay. And do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in questions? No. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Okay. Wastewater treatment plan, rapid infiltration basin cleanup, also known as RIBS. So, what we're asking for is to go out for estimates to clean out 3. We have 5 ponds out there. We call them RIBS. I call them ponds. It's where the sewage that's been treated goes and settles into the ground and returns to the groundwater. Hi there. And so it's never been done. It's a general maintenance item that should be done annually, at least once. It's never been done, needs to be done. We have trees growing in there. So right now what we're asking is to go out for estimates. There are not a lot of people that do it. I think we've got 3 or 4. So I'll make a motion to request estimates for the clean out of 3 RIBS or rapid infiltration basins at the wastewater treatment plant this fall. in anticipation of starting up the wastewater treatment plant. Again, it's never been done, so it needs to be done. In the spring, we'll ask for the last 2 to be cleaned, and then we'll also put out for bid separately an annual contract to clean them out, which should be much simpler than this. So I'll make that motion to request estimates. Do we have support for a second for that?
I'll support that.
Okay. So questions, discussion.
Are these like you need to see it outside the city park?
Yes,
Those ponds?
yes,
Okay,
not quite that big.
and they dug them, but nothing's been done over the last how many years, so now they're all,
10 years, 12 years, 10 years?
so now they're all filled in.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we have trees, and the trees can't be there. They are not lined. So, which is fine. It is a maintenance item. We'll have someone come in with equipment, scrape them. I'll scrape the trees out, and there's grass, and maybe it won't have to all be scraped. If they need more sand, we have sand that they can bring that in. And then it will be, in the spring, we'll set up another request for estimates for the last 2. And then we'll be good, we'll be golden out there, and then we'll just have to clean them out once a year. Okay. And we'll also get we'll put that up to bid for maintenance contract on that. It'd be nice to do it multi-year, maybe we think better estimate, I don't know. So far, we have 2, and we're pursuing 2 more. So we have one from Northern Michigan Contracting, Schley Landscaping, I think, out of Sheboygan. We're requesting one from A1, an estimate from A1, and then the biosolids agronomics.
What was the cost of the first one to do that?
Well, we're asking, they bid for 5, and one came in at 50,000, the other came in at 20. We've been told that we should be able to get them done at about $5,000 a piece. So we put them back out for estimates, saying, okay, let's rethink this and bring it down to 3. Should try to keep it in a more reasonable number for this first go round. So that's what we're looking at. Yes, ma'am.
Are these O&M expenses for each, because the sewer has 3 separate budgets, doesn't it really? Phase 1, commercial,
Phase 1 and phase
2.
Well, so let's think about this, because yes and no. I mean, we have 3 phases. Commercial, phase 1 and phase 2, which is how I reference them. But we all use the wastewater treatment plant, right? So I look at this because it's never been done. Should this be considered maintenance? Or should this be considered a repair, replace, and improve? To me, the cleaning out on an annual basis is a maintenance. But this is something that needs to be done regularly, so it can be considered maintenance.
Fine for me when you say that we all use it.
All your sewage goes out to one plant. It's not like commercial goes here, phase 1 goes, sewage plant goes there, and phase 2 goes there.
Because you're not talking about the fact that it's a township expense versus a sewer expense.
To me, it's a sewer expense. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I was just curious
Yeah.
as to
No,
how
it's,
you were going to divide it up. Well, to be perfectly honest, the commercial has used it for
yes,
since 15.
yes.
Do they get that expense first on 3 or 2 or whatever you decide?
Mhm.
And then do we operate like the township operates, with the township hall, where everybody gets a third?
That's never been discussed. That's a good question. And that's a good point. Again, it depends on how you look at this first initial clean out. Is it considered, repair of ribs that are still functional, but we have to pass inspection? So if the USDA comes in and sees those trees and says, yeah, no, love the plant, hate the trees, we're not letting you open. We have to get ready to open that plant. So I hear what you're saying. I think I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with it. My take would be to run it through our R&I this first go round. But initially, we just have to get the bids, get the estimates, make sure it's something we can afford. So any other questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
My understanding on the ponding basins, the problem is when they first built the plant, they built the basins, they haven't been used. Regulations, by my understanding, and I'm not the expert, is 8-inch growth is all that's allowed. So
How much, I'm sorry, how much growth? 8?
8 inches.
Oh, okay.
So this first clean out would be the heavy hit.
Yes,
After
sir.
that, you can basically do it with a lawnmower. So you wouldn't have a reoccurring cost like this in future years.
Correct. That's my understanding as well. And in fact, talking to Jennifer, one of our operators out there today, I asked her, I said, what is Eagle saying about the criteria? She said, there are none. There are no criteria. We don't know if we need 6 inches of sand, 8 inches of sand, or 2 inches of sand once we scrape out the vegetation. So, it's hard to guide people to give them estimates. So we're going with people that know what they're doing, that have done this before. We got the heavy hitters in there. So anyway, that's what I know as of this afternoon with the wastewater treatment plant and the RIPS. And the way they work out there, as Tammy and Jennifer have explained to me, is they rotate through these ponds. So we're gonna clean out 3, and while those 3 are being cleaned, they're gonna use these 2. And then when it comes springtime and we clean the 2, maybe they've not been using those and they've dried them up a bit. And then they're going to clean those. And we'll be using these 3 over here. I think what they've told me is they always have kind of one sitting. They use 2 at a time, I think, out there right now. I could be wrong on that. They don't use them all simultaneously. They kind of rotate them. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we have a motion to request estimates for the cleaning out of 3 ribs at the treatment plant, hopefully this fall, to get it ready in anticipation of startup. We have 2 estimates, and we're waiting for 2 more, and hopefully I can bring those in October. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Stacy brought up the trash services, and good job on that. Yeah. So I think you guys are changing trash services. We'll split that 88876 like we talked about in the past. Do we need a motion on that? So we're changing the garbage service from correct, thank you. Purchasing a dumpster. We have shared our trash service 88876. So do we need someone make a motion to accept that, the process changing?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. And a second on that? Okay. Any questions, discussion? Yeah. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Coming up on the end of the year, hard to believe already. We have in here the contract for legal services. And it will be coming up, December 15th already? So the question is, again, thinking ahead, trying to get out in front of this stuff, do we want to put this back out for bid? And who wants to ride shotgun on this?
Do we have to put it up for bid? We have to, then we have to.
Right, I think we do.
Okay.
I think it's prudent. Jonathan, you did a really good job on that last year.
I'll make the motion to Then we'll put out for bid, I guess what do you want to use for a date?
Wednesday, I don't have a calendar.
By our December board meetings.
Make a decision then. Well, we have to give, if we're gonna change, if we are gonna change, I think our contract says we have to give 30-day notice. So we should do it by the November 4th is a Tuesday, are we the 11th?
December board meeting, it's the 15th of that following Monday.
Yeah, so we should do it by the 11th.
Are we gonna need
I'm sorry?
disagreements or just do the same RFP as we used before?
I'm fine with what we used before. Laura, are you fine with what we used before? And then due back by, shall we say November 1st? So we have them for the November 11th board meeting? Is that gonna give us all enough time, you think? Okay, use same. Okay, all right, so do we have a second on that, to have an RFP due, using the same RFP from last year, due back to the office by November 1st, 2025, for consideration at the November 11th, 2025 board meeting? That's the motion. Jonathan made that motion, do we have support?
Yes, I'll support that.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. In here, this amendment to the scope of the Mead and Hunt, and I truncated that, sorry, it's the wastewater treatment plant expansion contract. As you know, if you were here for the sewer meeting, we have run into a couple of hurdles today at the wastewater treatment plant. It's been frustrating. It's been not without a lot of discussion and conversation as to how it happened. It happened. This was brought, some of the issues that we're having at the treatment plant, the two blowers, we need 3. The surge tank that is not going to work properly, the way it's designed right now, was brought to our attention by the operators. They had noticed it some weeks ago, tried to bring it to the attention of our engineering firm. Wasn't addressed promptly. Here we are. I was asked if I would allow a Mead and Hunt engineer to look at the plan. He was going to be here to look at the Mead and Hunt operations as a matter of contract. And they wanted to run it under his nose while he was here. And I said, sure thing. I was able to meet with this senior engineer for an hour out at the plant. And he said, he described it as a high-level view. He didn't dig deep into the plan, into the drawings. He was at the plant to physically look at it. He looked at the drawings and he said, this will never work. Had some questions for me. We had a discussion with the operators. There's potential that the changes, the hurdles out there are going to slow this project. We're in discussion with the engineers. They're working hard, but it does bring up for consideration, do we, the township, need someone available, an engineer available who knows what they're looking at to offer a second opinion on change orders, on drawings, to help prevent some of this in the future. This is not, we're writing the check today for an additional $10,000. This is an addendum to the existing Mead and Hunt expansion contract that we have. It will allow us access to the Mead and Hunt senior level engineers. If we have a question, our first line of defense is performance engineering. If we do not feel they're listening to us, we don't understand it, we take it to our operators. Oftentimes they call us saying, hey, did you see this? They're our first line of defense. This addendum would allow us access to the Mead and Hunt senior level engineers to oversee the project changes to say, does this make sense to you? It's at an hourly rate. It is on an as-needed basis up to a maximum of $10,000. Right now, we have an O&M contract, operations and maintenance contract, running of the plant with Mead and Hunt. It's about $10,000. The expansion contract is $10,000. This amendment would add an additional, second opinion, an additional $10,000 if we need them. It's not that we're gonna spend the 10 grand, okay? I can tell you that we are spending the first 20 out there with O&M and expansion. Currently, we're at $9,500 for the month of August, according to Tammy. Might be a nice backup plan for us. I'll make the motion that we amend the Mead and Hunt contract to include engineering consultation services as needed to help oversee the wastewater treatment plant sewer collection expansion. That's the motion I'll make. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, now let's talk about this. This all kind of came up in the last 2 weeks. Operators called, came into the office very concerned. They noticed the sideline surge tank where the excess capacity, I think July and August when we're full to the brim, excess capacity comes in, it can't be handled in either train, which are the plants on either side of it. It goes in there, and as the plant empties out into the ribs, the settlement or the infiltration basins, it flows from this tank in the middle into the first phase of treatment. So that's what it's supposed to do. Aeromod is a modular sewer system company. What we have are their modules on either side of this tank. It's like a big fish tank out there, swimming pool. The way it's supposed to take that excess capacity and run it into phase one and run it through the system and then discharge it. The way it is not set up that way right now. If the excess capacity comes in there and it settles, it doesn't get processed right away. The solids will settle to the bottom. It goes what they call septic, which means all of our bugs die. Bugs need food. The solids from the waste are their food. It doesn't work. So there's no aeration in there. It needs aeration if it's going to be used that way. There's pumps that are pumping it in the wrong area, and then there's discharge pipes that are above. There is no way we would ever have that much capacity in that tank and it would freeze. So we have issues out there. I think it's a good line of defense. Again, it's as needed basis. I have confidence in performance engineering. This is a very big project. And we want it to go well. I don't think we'd be here had we had this in place a month ago. I think we would have caught this. But that's all hindsight. We can't talk about that. Question?
I have overheard as I'm in the office, some of the operators talking about how this is not gonna work. And I personally feel that if we need a second opinion, this is a second opinion, same as anything else. You spent so much money, it has to work. So, and if this is what we need to do to get it to work, then so be it. But
I mean, there is a fix, right? I mean, they are confident there's a fix.
Yes, yes.
So we're not dead in the water, we just need.
And again, this is not usurping or taking over from performance engineering in any way. It is not that. It is our backup plan that if we have a change order come in that doesn't make sense to us, we can ask them to take a look at it, and they will do that. We would first go to one of our operators, Tammy or Jen, and say, hey, what is your, usually it comes from them saying, hey, take a look at this. This is why we're concerned. Trust me. I go out there and they leave me around by the hand and I'm like, okay, it's good to me. Usually they come to me with something. It's fascinating. I hope they do an open house and we can all learn. But I think it's a good insurance policy. That's how I look at it. It would be a second opinion for your, a doctor's appointment. We do not have to spend any of this.
We're just putting it in place so in case
Yes.
something comes up.
And these are not, the engineers, do they do that? Anyway, what they're suggesting are senior and project engineers. These are people who've been around the horn. They know what they're looking at. Any other questions? No? So motion on the table to amend the contract to add to the wastewater treatment plant expansion engineering consultation services as needed up to a maximum of $10,000. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Yep. Motion carries. Thank you. Yeah, that's in the box. Good luck with that. Yeah. Okay, this wastewater treatment plant expansion, this is a part of what's going on out at the wastewater treatment plant. So we've been waiting for this $1 million from EPA and it's coming. It's here, we've gotten it, we've gotten confirmation. What we have to do now is we have to have the engineers draw up request for bid, request for proposal, the specs on what they call cold storage. This is the building addition, which will allow us to have 55-gallon drums of chemicals rather than having our operators using a 2-wheel hand cart toting drums of chemicals around the plant and dumping it in. It will allow them to expand their lab. They're mixing chemicals and doing things on top of paperwork in there. It was what was removed from the budget last year. It'll allow us to finally buy a screen so they're not scraping tissue and solids from the sewage as it comes in by hand using a rake. It will allow us telemetry to know so they can monitor our plant offsite. It will put that PER back in for phase, whatever that is going to be called over there, that phase. I don't want to even go there.
Over the bridge.
Yeah, over the bridge. So what we're asking for here is to, we have to put it out for bid. The grant states it has to be a 30-day bid process. So it has to be written by the engineers with very particular specs, with drawings, has to go out for 30 days. We have to put it on the website, we have to publish it in the paper, we have to put it out to Builders Exchange, and we also, he has to put create an advertisement for it. That has to go to the EPA first. Once the EPA vets it and says, yep, here's the criteria in the grant, this all meets the criteria, go. He gets it back to us. What we're asking for here is that we're authorizing performance engineering to create the RFB, request for bid, on a construction project, for the addition to the wastewater treatment plant for cold storage and the screen, that they will, performance engineering will, it will be published as per the grant. It will be a sealed bid process because it's over our expenditure, which is, I think I have that policy here. It's over $25,000 and a penny. So it's a sealed bid process. We will have a date where we have performance come here. We will open this sealed bids, and it will be awarded. Typically, I think we've done it in the morning. I don't, doesn't matter. And then we'll get going. So the request is, to authorize PEI to create the RFB for the addition to the wastewater treatment plant for both storage and the screen. And then, to create the advertisement, and then the permission for the supervisor to sign the awarded bid if it's within the budget. That's the kicker. So it doesn't have to wait for the October meeting. And that's the kicker right there. So I'll make that motion. Is there a second so we can talk more about this? I'll second that. So if we wait, we can do all this and then we'll, we have to still, this will expedite the process.
Yes.
At the opening of the bids. If we can get this done and return from the EPA within the next week, do you think that's feasible with him? We can try. That would get us the end of the month. Possibly we could get this awarded by the end of October. Yeah, 5 months to get the screen. That's the big kicker on the screen. It's a 5-month lead time. Any questions, more discussion?
No, I think that's exactly the point why we want to expedite it, because once we get it started, then we still have to wait 5 more months before the screen gets here, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, to request PEI to create the RFB for the addition of the wastewater treatment plant for cold storage and the screen, published per the grant. Sealed bids will be opened at a date to be announced 30 days hence. Permission for the supervisor to sign the awarded bid if it's within the budget when those bids are open. That's the motion, second by Laura. Any additional comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Opposed? No, okay, motion carries. All right. Oh, yeah, the well replacement. Okay, we all remember the ice storm from April. And the well was fried by the brownouts, right? The power surge. So the request is that we put this out for estimate, and to replace the well pump that was there originally back in 2014. It's, so I don't know how much history to give without, everybody knows what happened out there, the pump fried, okay. So what we have is a 1-horse, 20-gallon per minute pump. We originally paid for a 15-horsepower, 150-gallon per minute pump. That well for the wastewater treatment plant and the Commerce Park. That's what we need. We want to request estimates not to exceed $25,000, and I'd like to get this done soon. Well, Bill can, or well, someone, Bill or anybody in the trial. We've got 2 estimates in. I'm waiting for 2 more. So that's the motion to put this out to estimate, out for estimates. Okay. And any more discussion?
I guess with it being caused by a natural disaster, is it going to look into our insurance paying for it?
Well, the original, the repair was, and that was applied to the deductible. That's a good question. I can call her on this one. The other thing is, you know, looking into the history of the well, it was put, the contractor at the time, and the engineer was Gordy Frazier. And that was subbed out and a well driller was hired. He confirmed that the well he put in, and it's confirmed on the DEQ well logic filing, that it was a 15 horse, 150 gallon per minute pump. He was then called back 1 year later to replace it. And he was called back again 1 year later after that to replace it. And he said, I put in there that 1 horse, 20 gallon per minute pump. And I said, what happened to the pump? He said, the valve was turned off, the water wasn't there, it burned the pump up. And he said, the second, I said, well, how'd you prevent it from happening the third time? He said, I took the handle off the valve, so whoever was turning the water off couldn't turn it off anymore. That was back in 16, and that pump, little pump had been out there. You know, we've grown. We got a lot happening out there. We need that water. So I'm still having conversations with Gordy Frazier. We'll see where that goes. I'm more than happy to call the insurance again and talk to Gordy Frazier again. To see what help they may have available to us. So that's the back story, the back history on that pump out there. And how we got that little guy.
And then obviously with the rumor, I don't know, I'm sure we'll probably never see it, but.
Oh.
Any fundings from the state or from
FEMA?
FEMA or.
Well, interesting, I did have a conversation today. And we've filled out the paperwork and he is coming up here to meet us on the 22nd to look at our invoices and expenses. Right now, he said, and I'm not optimistic, debris removal, straight time and overtime to remove the debris, mostly cemetery work. And then any wellness checks, overtime hours. And the fire is their own entity. So, you know, nobody's hopeful. FEMA is meeting, we'll wait to see if the checks roll. There's no guarantee on, he didn't talk dollars, yeah. Oh, yeah, or well, I did in our phone conversation, I mentioned that the well puked and we had to have it short-term repaired and now we have to replace it. So he was very curious about all that. Talked to him about the diesel fuel that we had to beg, borrow, and steal because the EOC wouldn't let us fuel up there, that they didn't feel like sewer system was a crucial, what'd they term that? Critical something, you know.
To me, it was critical.
Well, yeah, you tell people it's not critical when the crap flows on the ground, so to speak. Yeah, so he was very interested in that. The fact that we had generators that didn't work for any number of reasons. Yeah, so we have all those invoices we're going to work on gathering those together in the next 2 weeks. We have our spreadsheet that we submitted to the state, to the EOC for the state. I've not heard one word from the state. This is the first time I've heard from anybody, and I'm willing to fill out the paperwork all day. So, any other questions? Should we go out and get some more estimates, and then maybe, I suppose I can call a special meeting for that, but okay, so, we get estimates, I said not to exceed 25,000 because I don't want to put it out to seal bid. I don't, for the replacement of the pump, the well's there, just the pump. So, okay.
Is that pump gonna be replaced then with the bigger pump?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna put it right back to where it was when he initially drilled the well, to the 15 horse, 150 GPM. That's what was there way back in the day.
We put the 120 gallon per minute well or pump in though.
Brookmeyer did the second time he pulled the well, because somebody kept turning the valve off, put it in the water, so the pump burned itself up. Operator, whoever the operator was at that time, which was not who we currently have. Correct. Yeah. So hence the conversations with Gordy Frazier. Yeah. Yeah. And we do have documentation of that O&M contract at the time, so we'll see. We'll see if we can leverage a little something out of them. Or not. So, all in favor to put this, go out and get estimates on the replacing that pump, putting it back to right, which is the 15 horse, 150 GPM? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Holy cats. Oh, yeah. Well, it's the end of the year. We need to get smarter about these contracts. Have them end at different times. So the current O&M, operations and management contract is with Mead and Hunt. They've done a spectacular job. They've been with us since 16, when they cleaned up the mess out at the wastewater treatment plant, literally and figuratively. It is currently in effect until December 31st of this year. Time to start thinking about this. We talked to Tammy today. She said, absolutely, you put that out for bid. She said, it's the right thing to do. She said, warn your board. This plant has doubled. These phases have doubled, tripled. She said, this contract is going to double. We need a full-time operator. So she said, don't let them think that away when we put they're gonna bid on this. There are, I think, 4 or 5 other, is there 4 or 5? No, I got the wrong, the operators, the companies that do this. Yeah, no, I don't think there's, yeah. So we'll put it out for bid. That's, and you know, I asked Tammy today, so the motion is, do you want to put this out for bid now, or do you want to wait? Yeah. I mean, I'd like to get it back. We could put it out for bid. Yeah, and then November 1st to get them all done.
I think that's the smartest way, since we got a meeting coming up, we can do them all at one time,
There you go. Yeah.
and then worry about.
Mhm. And I think we can use the contract with Mead and Hunt. I think it's well done as far as our RFP goes, as far as who's responsible for what. And I asked Tammy, I said, okay, worst case scenario, sound like the wastewater treatment plant doesn't go online until April or May of next year. I said, but it goes online and we've got this contract. I said, can we extend this contract for 6 months or a year and then tweak it once the plant goes online? She said, absolutely. Or she said, you know, we can just keep doing the way we are. But the idea is to put it out for bid. So we'll tweak this for the expanded capacity out there, okay? And put it out there and then see what comes in by November 1st. And we can make our decision at the November meeting. So that's the motion on the table to put this out for bid using the Mead and Hunt contract with double capacity. Double treatment plant capacity. So I guess I can make that motion and support for that. I support that. Any other discussion? You wanna let's just put it out.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay. Health insurance policy. In the event that we should suffer a loss of an employee, do we want to think about developing a policy for continuation of benefits for their loved ones if they are covered? We currently have, and this is separate of the police department because they are their own entity. I want to make that clear. That is a union negotiated contract. They are a separate entity from the township. We have how many people with benefits here? No.
And your police chief, because I am.
Oh, that's right, you're not, that's right,
union employee.
yeah, you're not, yeah,
Jeff's
so,
not in the union anymore either.
right,
Oh, and neither is Jeff.
okay. So we have three, right? Three. You don't have a policy on this. Thoughts? Do we want to just create a thought process and, I don't know, I'm still kind of reeling. This is only the second time in my life where I've worked somewhere where there's been an employee loss.
If you don't mind me chiming in.
Please, please.
So, right now, the way it is if I come in here tomorrow and I resign, I have insurance for 30 days after I resign. But if I die tomorrow, I have no insurance.
That makes no
And
sense.
that makes, to me, that makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you, 30 days after going through what I just went through with, one of my officers' family, 30 days isn't enough. I mean, the last thing that family was even had on their mind was their health insurance.
Right.
So I don't understand why it isn't the exact same. If somebody was to come in and resign, they have it for 30 days. If they die, why would they have it for 30 days?
We just need to get it in writing in a policy, so.
So we
And
have,
not only do we need a policy, but the union contract does not address it. So the union contract needs to address it as well.
right. So is there a policy, Gordon, right now that says, hey, you resigned, you're good for 30 days?
It's in the union contract.
Oh, the union side, okay, but I don't know if we in our personnel, I don't know either. Well, we probably need to look into that current policy.
We just need to see if we have something, I mean, obviously if we don't have anything, then
Right.
it's not.
I'll make a motion to investigate or create a policy regarding township non-unionized employee deceased after benefit.
So we have a motion by Jonathan, do you have
I would
support?
definitely say that.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't know if it's a conflict of interest, but I'd be more than willing to help out with that as well.
Sure. I think the more the more eyes, the merrier, more perspectives is important. It begs the question, I know you and Laura worked hard on that union contract with Chris, opposite you. To just create an awareness with our rep for future. We don't think that way. But I think that's a good idea. So what do you want to, let's investigate that and bring it back to the next meeting, what do you think? Yeah. Okay. September, October, hard to think about that already. Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Oh, we can't, public comments. Do we have any? Yes, ma'am. You're lucky, you don't have to walk over there.
No, I didn't stand up.
She had something,
Yeah. Okay, I just want to give a quick update, County Planning Commission. At the last meeting, we were informed that we are going to start working on the master plan with NEMCOG. There will be a public outreach, and remember everyone, this is countywide, not just Tuscarora Township. There are, I think, 21 entities, 19 townships, Wolverine, the city of Mackinac, the city of Sheboygan are the only one, and Burke Township are the only ones that have their own planning and zoning. So all the rest of us fall under county. There will be public outreach, those dates and places will be noted, and there will be social media. We're gonna do another survey just like we did for Tuscarora Township when we had a planning commission So it'll be posted on social media, your neighborhood groups, EBLA, Kurt Lake Preservation Association, MAPS, they'll all have access to that survey. You'll want to take it. Thank you.
Thanks. Is it available not electronically if people aren't electronically inclined, you know? Maybe we can get some here. I mean, okay.
They did the last.
Have they published those dates?
Not yet.
Yeah, okay, right. I saw an email flash and I didn't read it, so. Any other? Yes, ma'am.
You're off.
You don't have to go up there. Do you want me to bring you a microphone?
No, I'm fine. I just have a question.
Yes, I hope I have an answer.
Well, you've had such a busy night, I don't understand why you wouldn't. Where do we stand with the contract with the state park?
I do not have an answer to that. The person I would defer to is not here tonight. Sue's kind of I think she's got the bit history on that. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, everything. We need to start changing some of these expiration dates, people. All right, we'll write that down. Okay, any other comments? Oh, yes, sir.
Once again, my name's Patrick McGinnis. I'm speaking tonight as a private citizen, not a member of the Parks Commission. But I would request that the Township Board place an item on the October agenda to allow the parks to form a subcommittee for the July 4th fireworks show in 2026. That's going to be the 250th anniversary of our country. And we need to bring in some younger people with their ideas. On the Park Commission, we did have a youth advisor who did an excellent job, helped us a lot. We can have these people look for fundraising opportunities, expand the whole show as from just a fireworks show to a community involvement type show. We've got a number of places we could hold the show. We could hold it at Low Beach, Cooperation Park, the airport, Marina Park. They all have advantages. The main disadvantage with DeVoe Beach, as I see it, is senior citizens cannot get into the place or get out of it easily after dark.
Right.
By having an expanded show, we can start it earlier, involve the youth, the young kids, the parents could have their kids there, make an afternoon, evening event out of it. But I would ask that we get an agenda item to allow the parks to start exploring this, approach the school, approach the school board to get the school involved with the youth, and make this a fireworks show that people will remember without the township having to spend money.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, we have enough committees and groups that I think we'll get a lot of support for that. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, thanks.
There was at one point in time, there were old fashioned days when it was Indian Tuscarora's anniversary. What was it, 100? I don't know, but remember, because we had things. There was a helicopter that you could buy rides in. We had the 4th or 5th graders. We learned how to square dance, and we had just little displays. And it was a whole big huge family. It was a big huge several days long. I think we had like a Tuscarora Queen or something pageant. I don't know.
Probably one of those books.
They did races, waitresses they were
Oh,
to be dressed
oh
up
my
like
gosh.
old fashioned,
How funny.
and kind of see how far they could get with the trays and the glasses full of water.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome.
Oh, wow.
So we have in the past come together like that. It just, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay, good deal. All right, well, we'll add that to the agenda. On the whiteboard you go. All right, any other public comments? Nope. Board comments? Nope. Motion to adjourn, 8:41. Please, somebody second that.
I second.
Thank you.
Please.